We got a new mock draft coming your way here on today's 76ers now, as the 2025 NBA draft officially just 1 week away. So on today's show, I'm going to try to predict what Daryl Morey and the Sixers will do on draft night. Not necessarily what I would do, but what I think will happen in 1 week. Speaking of the NBA draft, we will be live for both nights of the NBA draft, and it is completely free coverage. All you got to do is hit that sub button, turn on your notifications, and join us every single pick for rounds 1 and 2. And of course, we'll analyze whoever the Sixers take at number 3 or whatever pick they make if they do trade that selection. So join us, 22,244 subs as of this moment. Join the family and do not miss a thing. So let's get to my mock draft. The first 2 picks, pretty standard. Cooper Flagg going to the Dallas Mavericks, and then Dylan Harper going to the Spurs. There's been some talk of the Spurs maybe trading out of the pick, but I think they end up taking Dylan Harper. It's really a 2-man draft at the top. It's these 2 guys, then everybody else. That brings us to the Sixers at number 3. And again, this is not what I would do. This is me predicting what happens on draft night. I think that makes more sense as we get closer to the draft, because it doesn't really matter my opinion at the end of the day. The Sixers aren't going to listen to me, so I want to try to predict what they do. If it was up to me, I'm going to take Ace Bailey at number 3. I think he's worthy of that selection despite some of the news we've heard over the past couple of days. But if I'm predicting what's going to happen, I think the Sixers end up trading down. Now, if you missed it, a pretty interesting deal went down yesterday that you might have missed. These Indiana Pacers, of course, in the NBA Finals right now, making a trade with the New Orleans Pelicans. A team has been rumored to want to trade up to number 3 and take Ace Bailey. Indiana sent pick 23 in this year's draft to the Pelicans in exchange for their first-round pick back, which the Pelicans did own in 2026. So, New Orleans adding an extra draft pick in the first round of this year's draft. Why is that? I think they want to use that to trade up this year. So, I think they give the Sixers a call, and I think if the Pelicans offered this deal to Philadelphia, I think they'd be smart to take this trade, and I would make this trade as well. So the Sixers move down to number 7, but they also pick up number 23 and Herb Jones in this deal. In return, Sixers send out number 3, their second-round pick at number 35, and then you send Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond, assuming they opt into their player options, of course, to match the salary of Herb Jones. So the Sixers no longer picking at 3, they'll pick at 7 and 23 instead of 3 and 35. So the picks leading up to Philadelphia, who will now be at number 7. Obviously, the Pelicans, in this instance, trading up for Ace Bailey. The Hornets taking VJ Edgecombe. The Jazz taking Trey Johnson. And the Wizards taking Jeremiah Fears. This is all kind of what I think will happen on draft night for each of these teams, which leads us to the Sixers at pick number 7. And I'm going with Duke wing Knueppel. I think he fits this Sixers team so perfectly, and it's a great combo of a player who is NBA ready right now. His skill set fits what this team needs, but he also has more upside than I think people really give him credit for. Knueppel coming in at 6'6", 219 pounds with a 6'6" and a quarter wingspan. Obviously a freshman this year, just 19 years old. Not the craziest measurables, not the craziest athlete you will see either, but was still able to carve out a good role for himself at Duke. Of course, playing with Cooper Flagg, playing with Kamon Malawach, was really able to be that sort of connector, that glue guy who did a little bit of everything and really complemented those star players at Duke well, which would be his role with the Sixers. Averaged just over 14 points a game, shooting a very efficient 48% from the field and over 40% from 3 on over 5 attempts a game. When we talk about Knueppel, the first thing you got to mention is that 3-point shot. He's an absolute flamethrower, and all the shot mechanics are great. He's got a quick release. He's got great footwork on his 3-point shots, and he's never lacking confidence. He will let that thing fly from all over the floor. He also doesn't get enough credit for being a good secondary playmaker. When he has a ball in his hands, he can attack closeouts. He can run the pick and roll. He had very good chemistry with Kamon Malawach running that pick and roll game, and he's a very, very good passer as well. So he's not just this spot-up 3-point shooter. He can do some things with the ball in his hands, and he just has a general high feel and high IQ for the game as well, which a lot of times is something that cannot be taught, so you love to see that in a young prospect. Now, of course, does have his cons as well. Mainly athletically is where you're going to see Knueppel sort of come up short compared to other prospects. Just a lack of physical tools, lateral quickness, burst, length, athleticism, really lacking in all those departments. And because of that, he does get targeted a lot defensively. Now, he's not this absolute turnstile because he does have good strength. And as I mentioned, he has good basketball IQ. So he knows where to be and he knows how to play good defense, but he just has a thin margin for error because of these lack of athletic tools. He also could benefit from a slightly tighter handle. He has a good handle, don't get me wrong, but if he were able to develop that handle a little bit more, he could be even more dynamic, creating his own shots and running the offense a little bit. It reminds me a lot of, funny enough, a player who just got traded in a big-time deal of Desmond Bane. Of course, just got sent over to the Orlando Magic, and coming out of college, Desmond Bane out of TCU wasn't this super high-end prospect, right? He got picked at the back of the first round, number 30 overall, I believe. But a player who has really been able to develop his game outside of just shooting. He's a very underrated playmaker. Now, Bane has become a very good defender. I don't think Knueppel can be as good of a defender that Bane is because he is a little more athletic. But with the shooting, the playmaking, kind of the stocky build as well, especially offensively, I see a lot of Desmond Bane in Knueppel's game. Rafael Barlow, who runs NBA Big Board, the Substack, does great work in the scouting department. Has been scouting for years, and I really value his opinion pretty high on Knueppel. His feel, decision-making, ability to space the floor all point to a seamless NBA role. Projects as a plug-and-play complementary piece, a guy who'll knock down open shots, keep the ball moving, provide some secondary ball handling. One of the safer prospects in this class with a high floor thanks to his shooting touch, poise, and intangibles. I believe in the jumper, the IQ, the feel, and the competitive edge. His role at Duke mirrors what he'll be asked to do in the NBA, and with those traits, it's hard to see him not finding a way to stick. And again, we've been talking about the athleticism with Knueppel being something that's going to hold him back. But look at these numbers here. In the standing vertical leap at the NBA Combine, Knueppel had a higher standing vertical leap than Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, and Cooper Flagg. But when it comes to some of the agility testing, the lane agility time, very, very bad. He had the worst time of any wing player and was slower in the lane agility at 11.92 seconds than a 7-footer in Vlad Golden and slower than Janai Broome, who had a pretty terrible showing at the NBA Combine. So there's some good, there's some bad. In general, just not a great athlete, but as Rafael Barlow mentioned in that quote, just a great connective piece and someone who fits very well among other stars. So that's why I like Knueppel at number 7 here. And if they trade back, just a great fit with this team, with his shooting ability, his ability to handle the ball, his skill set is pro ready from day one. He can make an impact whether he's starting or coming off the bench. I think he can start at the 3 for this team. And he does have some upside as well if that handle can develop. It just depends how much he's able to improve on the defensive side of the floor. He can't be a liability. Can he be good enough on that end? We'll get to who I have the Sixers selecting with the 23rd pick after they traded for that in this mock draft. But speaking of the draft, just a week away, get your draft hats now. The official hats that prospects will be wearing on stage with Adam Silver when they are drafted. They are available right now through our friends at fanaticschatsports.com/76draft hat. A couple different styles. You can get them in a couple different colors as well. If you want a bucket hat, you want to rock that, you can get that too. So go get yours now. Again, just a week until the draft. Chatsports.com/76draft hat. I'll put that link in the comments and description of this video so you can click, go over to Fanatics, and get yourself a draft hat today. So the rest of my mock draft, just to see who's off the board. I know people are going to have questions. Why didn't you take this person? Why didn't you take this person? So I want you to see who went off the board before the Sixers picked. Kamon Malawach going to the Nets at number 8. Kasparas Yakichonis to the Raptors at 9. Carter Bryant at 10 to the Rockets. Derek Queen to the Blazers at 11. Noah Asenge to the Bulls at 12. Yegor Demon to the Hawks at 13. Thomas Sorber, Spurs at 14. Colin Murray-Boyles, Thunder at 15. Cedric Coward going to the Grizzlies at 16. They got that pick in the Bane trade from the Orlando Magic. Nick Clifford to the Timberwolves at number 17. Then I got Rasheer Fleming, Wizards at 19. Will Riley to the Nets at 19. Nolan Traore to the Heat at 20. Asa Newell to the Jazz at 21. And then Danny Wolf to the Hawks at 22, leading us to the Sixers now up at number 23. And there were some pretty intriguing options when I was going through the best players available for this Sixers team. Liam McNeely, someone whose stock has fallen quite a bit, forward out of UConn. Maxime Raynaud, center out of Stanford. Jace Richardson, son of Jason Richardson, the guard out of Michigan State. Johan Behringer, center out of France. And Ben Seraph, guard out of Israel. But out of all these options, I think Sixers fans are going to like this pick. I went with Maxime Raynaud, the center out of Stanford, a true 7-footer who sort of has a guard-like skill set in a way. He's a very, very intriguing player with his ability to put the ball on the floor, his passing ability, and his shooting ability. A true 7-footer, as I mentioned, at 7'1", 236, with over a 7'1" wingspan, was a senior this past year at Stanford, 22 years old, so he's spent some time developing in college and has really been able to improve year over year over year at Stanford. And his best year, of course, his senior season at Stanford. 20-10 playing in the ACC, over 33 minutes a game with 1.4 blocks, shooting 46% from the field, but he also can shoot threes. Shot 34.7% from the field on 5.5 attempts a game. So a true sort of 3-level scorer. He can score in the post. Some of his skills that he really displayed at Stanford, again, it's that size at 7'1" with some ball skills. He had some plays where, he'll get the ball out in the perimeter, quick pump fake, then he'll put the ball on the deck and get to the rim and throw down a big dunk. So he can do some things with the ball, and he's also a pretty good shooter as well. The shot does look smooth. So really everything you can ask for a modern-day big. Also a relentless rebounder. He's mobile on defense. Now, he's not the biggest guy. He's big, but his frame definitely allows for him to put on a little more functional strength. He has size, but doesn't always use it in the best of ways. Also a poor vertical athlete. So although he can move a little bit laterally, not a guy who's going to be this crazy great rim protector despite his size, although he's not terrible in that area either. No ceilings with another write-up here on Maxime Raynaud. 7-footers who can shoot like him do not grow on trees. His passing feel, solid handle for his position help his case. Raynaud has an argument as one of the best offensive big men in this class. And look, when you hear that, that is just one of the reasons why I like this selection here. Now, when we've done previous mock drafts, when the Sixers picked at 35, he's always been off the board, and I've still gone with another center. But Raynaud, his offensive skill set is just so intriguing, and he's a late bloomer. You think of guys that are 4-year college players who are 22 years old, you might think, oh, they don't have much more developing to do. But year over year over year, he showed such steady growth, and there is still room for him to grow. As a freshman, 29 games, 12 minutes a game, averaged 4.5 points. But every year, 4.5, 8, 15.5, up to 20 points per game this past year. And again, still room for him to get better and still room for him to grow. And I think he really complements Adem Bona's game as well. Obviously, you have Joel Embiid, and there's no guarantee whether he's going to be healthy for a full season, when he's going to be out there. This backup center position is so important, and you're trading away Oubre Drummond to get number 7 and number 23. So I like a backup center core, having someone like Adem Bona, who's your athletic, above the rim, pick and roll guy who can rebound, he can block shots, and then you combine that with a Maxime Raynaud's skill set of being a stretch big who's a little more skilled, a little more fluent, and a little more mobile side to side. It's a great combination of skill sets in your backup centers, and someone in Raynaud who the Sixers really haven't had in terms of this stretch big who can also do a little bit putting the ball on the floor. So I think would be a great selection for the Sixers if he's available at 23. But you let me know, how did I do on today's mock draft? I'm sure some people are going to say that they would have just gone with Ace Bailey, and I agree. They should go with Ace Bailey. But again, this is what I think Philadelphia will do come draft night. Again, we went Knueppel at number 7 after trading down from number 3 to 7 with the Pelicans. Also picked up Herb Jones in that deal, by the way. So another great addition to the roster. And then, of course, Maxime Raynaud, the center out of Stanford, at number 23. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F down in the comment section. And again, do not forget to subscribe for our free live coverage of the 2025 NBA Draft.